Hey everybody, I'm Afefe with Touch by Tarot, and I am checking in a little late, taping this on Friday, September 1st. I was due for, this is episode 4 of Think Tank Thursdays, but it's a holiday weekend, Labor Day weekend, and I had family come in unexpectedly, so my day yesterday got a little thrown off. I am up taping a little early before they wake up because I really honor my commitments to you and to the channel. And we've just had so much going on, you all. We can't skip a beat, can't skip a moment, right? Want to get on here today and, our little think tank. Interested in what you guys are thinking about and what how you're processing the sentencing that went down yesterday for two of the leaders of the Proud Boys in relation to the Capitol riots, January 6th insurrection. That is what it was. So yesterday, Judge Timothy Kelly in D.C. handed down two pretty decent sentences against, what's his name, Joseph Biggs, a lieutenant, and Zachary Ryle. Biggs got 17 years, Ryle got 15 years. We're waiting to see, what's his name, Enrique Tarrio. He's scheduled, I think, for next week for his sentencing. I would expect him to even get a little more. I know the prosecutors were pushing for up to 33 years. So Judge Kelly had some interesting remarks during the sentencing. But here's my thing. Not a peep from Donald Trump, as far as I've heard, right? And so the whole, remember that day where he said, what, stand back and stand by. There is no question that what happened, these organizations, the Proud Boys, etc., election deniers on down the line, they have fealty, tremendous fealty to this man. They moved as he said moved. When he said march, they marched. When he said, listen, you all got my back, they said absolutely. Tell us when you need us. I mean, the relationship there and the idea that people are truly, they feel an obligation to protect Trump. Even in his current campaign, there are people who simply feel a way to protect him when he's come out and said, what's happening to me is really happening to you. People are really buying into that. Here's my question, you all. I want to go to Spirit today and ask. I want to get a look at Donald Trump and see whether or not he is responding publicly. And we sort of know this because of his narcissistic tendencies. But is it even registering to him the price that people are paying and will continue to pay because of their fealty to him? Because that they did exactly what he asked them to do. And that was do whatever it takes to keep me in office. And they went to extreme measures. It's worth mentioning, by the way, that Ron DeSantis, who I'm going to do, I think next week, I'm probably going to do something on him, if not sooner, because I was interested to see his reactions to this. To the sentencing. And in July, he was in front of a group in Utah on the campaign trail. And he basically just, said it was the January 6 riots were, a protest gone wrong that just went too far, quote unquote. And that, ultimately for him, it was like these were not seditionists. These were not extremely dangerous people. These were just people who went out, had a protest, and got carried away. They had stun guns, they had batons, there were people who died. They came, pepper spray, they came with weapons. They came prepared. This was not just about, let's all get together and have our voices heard in a, and show up in solidarity. So, DeSantis once again is full of SHINT on that. But today I want to focus in on, is Donald Trump having any sort of reaction to these leaders of the Proud Boys and others who are being sentenced to some serious time? Their lives are done. They're this has truly altered the course of their lives, justifiably so. I have no sympathy for them necessarily, but the impact of what has happened to their lives as a result of their fealty to Donald Trump. I want to ask Spirit, is that registering to him at all? And the second part of my question today for us on the think tank is, going into 2024, are these sentences going to have an impact on those who are still rabid, who are still ready to go. All this talk about civil war, all this talk about, if you come for me, I'm coming for you. I mean, the rhetoric and the hype around violence is at a fever pitch, and we still have a year to go to the election. So, two-part question: what's happening in Donald Trump's mind? I should do some holy waters. And secondly, will these sentences have an impact on his followers in terms of those who've had this loyalty and fealty to Donald Trump? All right, let's go, you all. I have the Eight of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. I'm looking at Trump right now. He sees this as, there's a part of him that he understands that this was his work at play. He does understand that he is responsible, and but not in terms of what happened and lives lost and the terror that it caused, the disruption in our political system. He's looking at it as, they did what I told them to do. I am that guy, and I worked hard to earn their loyalty and their trust and their fealty. Two of Pentacles and the Six of Cups. He sees them as partners in the cause. And so no, does he feel bad about what's happened to them? No, he sees it as par for the course. That Eight of Pentacles is like, this is business. This is the price you pay to do business in politics in the United States of America. He sees it as par for the course. There's no regret here. The Two of Pentacles is his relationship to them. And he feels that in some sense, they are paying a price that they owed to him, and that almost like they knew the risks involved. Six of Cups and the Six of Wands. Interesting. He's hanging on to that relationship. He's hanging on to that, what he sees as love. We know that about him. He needs to be admired. He needs to feel like he's adored. And so he looks at the price that they are paying as an outgrowth of their adoration for him. There is no regret. He sees it as the cost of doing business. And justice. Woo! Thank you, Spirit. And justice comes. I'm going to hold that up for you. Notice that bat in the background there. Okay. He's looking at the system. This is his system. He was right in saying, we need my system of justice. That's the partnership. This justice came on top of the Two of Pentacles. That's the partnership and the deal that they struck with him. And that's what he sees it as. They struck a deal with him. They declared their loyalty to him, and that is the price that they were willing to pay. He almost is looking at this as if they don't mind. They were willing to pay this price. They knew in advance that they might have to pay this price and have their freedom. Absolutely. Confirmation. Ace of Cups. Ace of Cups. He's seeing this as Donald Trump he's aware, clearly. This is all he does. He understands on some level that this has caused irreparable harm. But he feels like that was the price that they were willing to pay. It is not his fault. It is what they understood in that Two of Pentacles and that Eight of Pentacles. It's what they understood was at risk. And this was a price that they were willing to pay. The Page of Pentacles, absolutely. And he also sees, he's looking at it as with that page that tells me he's looking at it as with the Justice card as well. If he wins re-election, then he'll be in a position to issue some pardons. That's his way of, not justifying it, but that's how he's processing it. Like, it ain't over yet. This may be what you have to go through right now, but if I'm back in, I'm going to take care of things. Queen of Pentacles. What is that about? Is that Melania? And strength. He's really lean. I don't know why Spirit is showing this to me in this moment, but I got to share it with you and call it like I see it. At this time, he's really leaning in on Melania, who, where is she? Is she going through a side door in Manhattan as we speak to get her hair done? We don't know. But behind closed doors, he is really leaning on her as never before. And this is him. He's coming. He is a Leo, and no, he's a Gemini. But I think he's got some strong. I looked at his chart at one time. He's got some strong Leo aspects to him because of that. It's all about me. He takes leadership and how he sees himself as a leader, and as we know, he twists it beyond recognition. But he's definitely leaning on her. He's seeking counsel from her, advice from her during this time, he looks to her to help. There she is. It's the high priestess. Yeah, we don't see her, but she's there. He's looking to her to help him not feel guilty about what has happened to the people who are now currently being sentenced and serving jail time. And these two people, Biggs and Rail, yesterday, and we know Tarrio's going to go, but they're just the tip of the iceberg. There are many, many, many people serving different sentences in relation to January 6th. Trump is leaning on Melania to help him, don't feel bad. Here's why it happened. You were just doing what you needed to do. I cannot imagine that she would play that role continuously, but all right, it is what it is. Now, let's look at, before we close out, let's look at whether this will have any impact going forward, especially as we head further into the 2024 election cycle. Are these sentences going to be any type of deterrent to those who are still espousing this violent rhetoric, who are still talking about, what they are prepared to do, backing Trump to the end, going off the cliff with him, does not matter. If he is sentenced, in one of these 15 trials that he's got coming up, what is going to be the response to that? What is he going to tell people to do? Is he going to call them again to arms, and to take action? What's going to happen? And will these sentences slow their roll? Will they think about it? We have judgment. That's a powerful indicator. At the bottom of the deck came judgment. They are second guessing. And second, a lot of them are. A lot of people who would normally have just not even given it a second thought, and joined in on any future quote unquote protests, riots. They are rethinking it. Judgment is that wake up call, a huge wake up call. It is ruled by Pluto. So things are transforming. There is still this very obstinate, if we do these things, we have an opportunity to play a role in the transformation of the country in a way that we want it to be. We know right now we're dealing with this true battle of and contest of wills between people wanting the ideals of what they see as the culture of America, up against the reality of what America really is and who really comprises the American cultural fabric. All right, we have the Ten of Cups. They're thinking about their their homes, their families, and we have the Hangman. Beautiful answer. Thank you, Spirit. Yes, this is having an impact. I'm not gonna go too far with that and say there still won't be people who are willing to take that risk and willing to go too far. Of course, there's always going to be that. But is there an opportunity that this could maybe become more of a fringe element as opposed to a growing movement, or a movement that continues to grow? There's a King of Wands here. So there's that leadership. They need the leadership. I get it. And the Star. Thank you. Okay. They need the leadership, and the Chariot. Ooh, thank you, Spirit, coming in hot and heavy. All right. King of Wands, meaning in order for that movement to continue to grow and people to be willing to continue to take that kind of risk, to show up knowing that, the price could be jail. The price could be your life is done. They are the type of, they respond to leadership. There are not enough people among them who are willing to stand out and have the organizational skills. That's one reason why Tarrio and some of the others who are facing these stiffer sentences, they played that leadership role because many of them had military backgrounds, as we know. They had lots of training. In order for this quote unquote movement to continue at that pace and pick up steam despite this sentencing. They would need a charismatic leader. And Donald Trump, barring him being reelected, he's not going to fit that bill. We have the star and the chariot. I think this is Spirit is saying this is speaking to deep down. People are even the most staunch Trump supporters are starting to think about a future. They're starting to think about moving on the chariot. They're starting to think about, is this a price truly that I am willing to pay long term, especially if, ultimately for everything that happened, they didn't get what they wanted. Trump is not in office. Biden is. And let's see what happens and make it another four, right? Bring him back. There's this notion that they didn't get what they bargained for. Not only are they paying the price, but they're paying the price for what? To watch Trump now facing all of these indictments, what, 90 something felony counts, you know? So there is second guessing between judgment, the chariot, and the star, you all, and the hangman. I only pulled 6 cards here in front of me on this, and 4 of them are major arcana. When we get that, we know Spirit is speaking loud and clear. It has a megaphone saying, listen up, I'm telling you the real here. No, this is truly, I'm not suggesting for one moment, because we all are hearing the rhetoric continue, but in terms of this organized, take the risk, storm the Capitol, at whatever costs. No, this is having an impact, and I'm glad to hear it. I would love to hear your thoughts. Thank you, Spirit, for that confirmation. Tell me what you think on this Think Tank Thursday that came to you on a Friday. I'm sorry about that, and I'm starting to hear some stirring out there, so I think I'm going to get going. Have a beautiful, safe holiday weekend, and I'll talk to you all really soon. Bye.